I have read that something like 10% of the Continental Army, not the militias, but what they call the Continental Line, didn't they, was African American. Is that true?
At any given time, it's 8 to 12%. So
8 to
10 is a mean, yeah. And they're in integrated units. That's the next time that's going to happen is the Korean War.
Yeah.
Initially, in the Boston siege in spring of '76, Washington takes command of these militia units that are going to be the core of the Continental Army. And the question is, should we let African Americans in? And the troops from Virginia say no. And Washington says, okay, we don't want to do this. And then he finds out that if they don't do it, they're going to go to the Brits. And he says...
Who were giving people freedom, as I understand.
Yeah, right. Well, down in Virginia, they try to do this. It doesn't work because all the blacks come to the British and then they die of smallpox on ships. Washington sort of reluctantly agrees to admit African Americans into the Army. And then, however, as the war progresses and he sees them, he realizes they're really good soldiers. He's also accompanied throughout the war by an African American valet, I guess is the right word, named Billy Lee. And Billy is a black African American he bought in 1768 because the only one that could keep up with him in the fox hunt. And but Billy's with him the whole war. It's funny. There's a few scenes in Trumbull paintings where you see Billy, like in the surrender at Yorktown. He's got a turban on. I don't know why he's got a turban on, but like. And I've read the entire Washington papers because I did a biography of him once. And I swear to heavens, he's invisible. He's the original Invisible Man. And yet he's there. We know he was there. And people, after the war, and after Washington, long after Washington's dead, they come back to Mount Vernon where he's freed, but he stays there. And he tells them, that's the only thing we know about Billy, what he's reported by these journalists. You know, well, this happened at Monmouth Courthouse, and General Washington did this at that place, and all that kind of stuff. And the role of blacks in the American Revolution that's not just some sort of hyped thing. They were there. Hamilton and another guy called John Lawrence, want to use the war as a lever to free to end slavery. Washington says that's a great idea, but it's not going to work. And they tried in, I think it's South Carolina, they make a promise that if you come, you'll be freed, and and the South Carolina legislation doesn't pass it.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, a leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.